From all across the state of West Virginia, they came, 40 of them, with one goal in mind, to build, not just homes, but friendship and understanding. I'm Doug Sheils, deep in the heartland of what was once called the Soviet Union and the evil empire. Over the next 30 minutes, you'll see a different side of this vast country of Russia, a side perhaps you've never seen before. And you'll see how decades of hatred and mistrust are slowly being replaced with love and respect, a feat accomplished by a compassionate group of West Virginians, Mountaineers in Mission.
Mountaineers in Mission, a 13 News special report, is sponsored by Black & Decker. And now, from the heart of Russia, here's Doug Sheils.
Moscow, capital of a superpower that not long ago was referred to as the evil empire. A busy city, a beautiful city, a city rich in culture and tradition. Less than a year ago, however, Moscow was a city in chaos. Gunfire and grenades lit up the streets in a glow of political unrest. Today, the once burning Russian parliament building is gleaming white again. The fire is out in Moscow, but the embers of discontent still smolder in its people. To judge all Russians by what you see here in Moscow would be like judging all Americans by what you see in New York City. You need to travel outside of Moscow into the villages to get a better understanding of Russia and its people. Welcome to the village of Sheils, a 9-hour bus ride south of Moscow. A place very few Americans had ever seen, until now. These hard-working people are not only Americans, but West Virginians. They're part of a group called United Methodist Volunteers in Mission. 20 of them are in Sheils, finishing concrete homes started and abandoned by the Soviet government in 1980.
This little cluster of houses can be a little model of what could happen in other places as people work together.
And 20 others are building wood frame homes about 4 hours further down the road in the village of Krasnozarya.
We've kind of compared it to being in the most remote spot you could possibly be in West Virginia, but yet you're at least 4 hours past that to any kind of civilization that we're used to.
Life has never been easy here, but today, in the midst of sweeping changes in Russia, getting by is really difficult. Hope, though, remains high.
We feel it. We can feel it that it's rather tough to live now. Though it was tougher 2 years ago, now it's better. And perhaps it's going to be better.
I think that people more optimistic today than, well, few years ago. I think that they think of their future, and they hope to live in better conditions than they have now.
And these West Virginians give Russians even more reason to be hopeful. Each member of this work team had to pay his or her own way over here, thousands of dollars to build homes for their Russian friends in need. But most all of them will tell you they received much more than they gave.
It makes me feel great. I mean, you come in and you try to help people a little bit, and then they will give to you more than you could give to them before you get out of here. You understand that you come into some places and the people don't care about you, they don't like you, don't even want you around, but before you leave, you could see them cry.
I think each person we have talked to and each one we have touched, that we will definitely leave a piece of us here. But then we also take more back with us than what we will leave.
What these volunteers will leave behind, though, is substantial and definitely much needed.
Right now it's high time for Russia. Hard time, really. And this village is really rather poor. That's why your help is really great for this particular village.
Well, hopefully it'll mean more than just housing to them. Part of the motivation behind the project is to build housing. The other important part of the motivation is to build relationships. This is piecework that's happening. It makes it real difficult for people to feel animosity or otherness when you've worked side by side with people.
These people are part of our family. We're all of God's people. So wherever we are in the world, I think it's important for people to be reaching out, touching one another's lives and working together.
I think if we had more things like this, the people in the world would get to know each other and find out that we're pretty much all alike, and it would make for a better world.
Most Americans, though, will probably never get the opportunity to go to Russia and discover that for themselves, and unfortunately will continue clinging to stereotypes of Russian people. When we come back, you'll see how Russians and Americans, working side by side, can erase those stereotypes.